Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for stopping by again. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. So today I'm going to be doing a nude makeup transformation on this very beautiful lady right here. So I just went on to groom her brows, then I went on to use my white powder on her eyebrow because this helps her eyebrow to stay matte when I'm using my eye pencil and avoid the oil on that area. So right now I'm just using my David's eye pencil in color 3 and I'm using this to draw her brows. Guys, if you want a very detailed tutorial of how I draw my brows, I'm going to be leaving a link to that video at the description box down below, so please do well to check that out. I'm sure it's going to be helpful and it's very easy and affordable. So I went on to just line the brows and just fill them up before I conceal. For her concealer, I'll be using the Elegant Pro concealer on her brow bone, and this is in the shade Chestnut. And I'll also be using my Superstay foundation in color 355. I'm not sure of that foundation, but I'm going to be leaving the number of that foundation at the description box down below. So you all know how I do this. I use the Elegant Pro concealer just on the brow bone, and then I use the foundation shade on the inner and the outer corners of our brows. And like I said, if you want a very detailed tutorial of how I draw my brows, I'm going to be leaving a link to that video at the description box down below, so do well to check that out. So right now I just went on to apply the Elegant Pro concealer I had left. I just applied this on her eyelid and then I went in with my blending brush. That is from the V Techniques and I used that to blend. For her eyeshadow, I'll be using that brown shade from the NYX Sweep palette. I'm just going to be using this on her crease area, and I'm going to be applying a very good amount of that because I wanted the brown shade to show. I wanted it to be visible and not just in nude shade only, so I kept on using that brown shade. And as you all can see, I went on in like a tapping and a random motion. So when I tap, I'm just going to go round and round from the inner corners to the outer corners, from the outer corners to the inner corners, till I was satisfied with what I got. Then I went in with my benign Glam white. I use this as my eyeshadow primer. I'm just applying this on her eyes. I'm not really taking this to the crease area. I apply this on her eyes and then I use a different finger to blend. Then I went in with my Revolution Sweep palette and I went in with that nude shade, and I'm just applying this on those parts that I applied my primer, and also I applied a very good amount of this. Then I went in with that powder shade from my Zikel palette. I just used that on her brow bones and literally just those parts that you saw me applying it because I wanted everything to be blended very well. So right now I'm just doing the same thing to the other eyes, the same step I used, nothing different. So right now I am applying her lashes. I'm so sorry guys, I do not know the name of these lashes. She brought these lashes when she was coming from the makeup, and this was supposed to be her makeup for the picture she wanted to take for convocation. So I am so sorry, there was no name on the lashes. The lashes has been used before, so I just used this. So right now I just went on to wipe those excess products I had on her face with my face wipe. So right now I am using my Omaricode hydrate moisturizer and I'm applying this all on her face making sure it goes around, guys. Moisturizer on your face is something really effective, and you really need to have it. So I just told her to hold this fan directly on her face so that could get dry fast. So once that was dried, I went on to apply her primer. That is from the Zaron, and after the primer I went on to apply this sweat block, I think that is also from the Zaron. And then she went back to the fan and just make sure everything was dried up. So for foundation, I'll be using the Superstay foundation 355. I just used that foundation first, and as you all know how I apply my foundation, I go first on one side of this face before I go to the other side. So after putting the foundation with a flat brush, I went on with this fluffy brush still from my Coastal Scent 22-piece brush, and I used that to blend. And after that, I went with this puff. I really don't know, I've forgotten the name of that, but you know, the foamy stuff. I just used that to blend that again, and then I am doing the same thing to the other side. So right now I went on to apply another set of foundation on her face, but then I had to mix my Superstay foundation 355 and my Zikel 2 foundation in bronze 7 or 9. I'm going to be leaving that at the description box down below. So you all know I always apply like 2 sets of foundation on my face or my client's face, but then I did not just go with the Superstay foundation because I felt that was kind of light for her, so I wanted to not make her face look too bright, so I had to go in with something dark. That was the Zikal foundation, and I mixed it with the Superstay foundation, and then it gave me the perfect color, and I applied it, and I used the same step that I always use for my foundation. So right now I just went on to use my Kiss Beauty setting spray, and I'll be using this on her face, and then I told her to use the mini fan just to make sure that this gets dry before I apply her concealer. So for the concealer, I'll be using the Girl Pro concealer in chestnut, and I'm going to be applying this underneath her eyes. I'm also going to be applying this on the forehead and on the cupid bone, on the bridge of her nose, and under her lips. I think that's all. After I waited a while for that to get dry a little bit, I went on to blend. I started with the forehead. I always do not want the forehead to get too dry before I blend, so I started with the forehead, and I am using this brush from the Real Technique. I just feel this brush gives me everything I need when I blend, so I use it. You can use a beauty blender also, but I think I'll go with a brush today. So after that, I went underneath her eyes, I blended that, then I came to the cupid bone, I blended that, and then I went to the other side of the eyes, and then I blended that also. But then because this brush is kind of big, I feel it's kind of good to like the inner corners of her eye. I'm going to be using the smaller blending brush. It's also from the Real Technique. I'm going to be using this in the inner corners of her eyes, so I could just get to those parts the big blending brush could not get to. I'm also going to be using this small blending brush on her nose. So for her contour, I am going to be using my Zikel 2 foundation. This is bronze 7 or 9. I'm going to be leaving the name at the description box down below. I use this below her cheekbone. I'm also using this on her nose, and also some of it on her forehead. And I'm using this brush that I got from AliExpress. I really do not know the name of the brush. I'm using this to blend. I went first underneath her cheekbone. For her nose, I am using this small blending brush that I got from the Real Technique. I am going to be using that to blend the nose contour. So right now I just went back to that small blending brush from the Wee Techniques, and I just went on to blend underneath her eyes before I apply my powder to avoid the area from crease. So I just went on to blend it first before I went on to apply powder, and I am using my white powder. This is a regular white powder you can see anywhere. I'm just using this to set the concealer. Guys, if you have a loose or a setting powder, it is very perfect, you can use it, but I haven't laid my hands on any right now, and I'm in school. The price they're calling for me here is so expensive, so I am using this. So I'm just using this to set underneath her eyes. I use this on her forehead, and I'm also going to be using this to make like a reverse contour. So after that, I went on to just wipe those out. I waited for like a few minutes, let's say like 1 minute, and just went on to wipe those powder out with her powder shade from the Zikel palette, and that is what I am doing right now. Right now I went on with my gel liner, and I think this is from the Glam gel, and I just applied that on her waterline, and then I went on to set her concealer, and I went back to that dark powder shade still in my Zikel face kit. Guys, this Zikel face kit is really, it has been a very good help to me. And then I just set the contour, the one underneath her cheekbone and on her forehead, and also on her nose. Then still on my Zikel face kits, I went on to apply blush on her cheek. I'm really not putting lots of that. I just apply mainly very little amount of that, and that was it. Then I went on to apply bronzer. That is from the Revolution Sugar 2. I applied this on the bridge of her nose, on her forehead, on her lips, on her cheek, and I think that is all. So for her lips, I will be using my classic lippy. This is in the shade Gossip. It is not a 24 hours lippy, it's those type that are not 24 hours, if you know classic lippy. So that is the one I am using. I'm just using this to line her lips first. It is kind of a purple brownish shade, and it's really perfect, so that is what I am using for this look. For the inner corners of our lips, I went still in the classic, and this is the shade Nude Girl. I'm just applying this in the inner corners of our lips, and then I use this small blending brush from the Coastal Scent 22-piece brush, and I'm just using this to blend everything together. When I was done blending, I just went on to apply brown powder on her face, still from my Zikel face kit, and then I applied bronzer on her eyebrow bone. Then after that, I still went on with powder till I was satisfied what I got, and then she said she needed to glow more, so I just applied my bronzer still from the Revolution on her clavicles, and then I went in with my Zaron mascara, and I just used that on her under lashes, and then I went back to my setting spray from Kiss Beauty. And that is all for this look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you love the look. Please give this video a thumb up by hitting the like button, and also comment, let me know what you think about this look. Let me know what you love to see next. Please hit the subscription button if you haven't done that yet. I love you all so much. Bye, guys.